What's up, YouTubers? Got a special video for you today. Can you guess what it is? That's right, carb maintenance. And no, I'm not talking about watching your weight. To those unaware, you're probably thinking, what's a carb? Well, in a nutshell, it's a device used to sort out the fuel-air mixture in an engine. I'll explain more in detail later on. But all you need to know is that air flows through it from the airbox, hence the name, and collects a fine amount of fuel and mixes it up. You know what I mean? From there, it travels down to the cylinder and combusts and releases exhaust gases down the exhaust pipe. This is a really simple explanation, but I'm trying to be quick here. Okay, so before we get started, I'm going to show you the tools that we're going to need for the job. A pair of screwdrivers, one flathead and one Phillips. These will be used to take the carb apart. You're going to need some spanners to take the carb off the engine body. These are usually size 10 and size 8. You don't need gloves, but when you take the carb off, don't blame me if you stink of fuel. It's not my fault. You'll definitely need some petroleum jelly for when you get really excited and... okay, I'll keep my private life to myself. So let's get started. First thing you want to do is turn your fuel tap off, which is normally a horizontal position. Next thing you want to do is take off your fuel pipe. This is done by just simply following the hose down to the nozzle and just taking it off. After you've done that, take the bolts connecting the manifold off the engine, or either take the carb off the manifold. I'm taking the manifold off with the carb because it's the easiest way for my carb to come off. Oh, and don't forget the other side. Now there's a Jubilee clip clamping the airbox to the carb. Use your screwdriver to unloosen the screw until the clamp moves freely. Before we take the carb off, we're going to need to take the HT lead off. Do this by just simply removing the nut that's clamping it to the carb and take it off. Now if you're taking your manifold off and you have a hose connected to your manifold, take the hose off. This is connected to your EGR valve and you don't need to take it with you. Now the last thing you need to do is just literally shimmy the carb off and take off the slide. The slide is located on the top of the carb and is used to control the amount of fuel that comes out the main jet. Just literally turn this counterclockwise and it'll come off straight away, and just pull it out. And just remember to keep your gaskets in a safe place, otherwise it won't go on again. Now that we've gotten the carb off, you're going to need to get yourself some gloves and get yourself a bowl for all the fuel that's going to be leaking out. Unless you like that sort of thing, then don't worry about the bowl. The tools you're going to need for this job are a flathead and a Phillips screwdriver. Now, pick up your carb, turn it upside down and start undoing the screws. Just bear in mind that it's probably going to start leaking. Now if you don't want fuel to leak everywhere, you can actually undo a screw right at the bottom of the carb that will release all the fuel that's in the float boat. But this way is a lot quicker and I can't be asked to. So once you've gotten your float bowl off, you'll see two floats. These work by blocking the pathway for fuel as they rise up, meaning the fuel level will stay constant. As you can see, the fuel enters the carb from this point, where it then dumps into the float bowl. The carb has brass tubes sticking out of it. These are called jets. The biggest one's called the main jet, then comes the secondary jet, and then the idle jet, more commonly known as the pilot jet. The jets all have different jobs, but I'm not going to go into that much detail in this video. All you really need to know about the pilot jet is how much it should be screwed in. When you're putting it back in, screw it in fully and unscrew it 1.5 to 2 turns and that should be good. Fine-tuning carbs is fun, but really inappropriate for a beginner's video, so maybe for another video. Idle jets either adjust fuel or air. If there's a long thin pin on the end, then it means it adjusts fuel. As you can see on this one, it does. You're going to need to undo the jets by unscrewing them with a flathead screwdriver. Undo both main and secondary and put them in a safe place. In future videos I'll explain exactly how they work if you request them. I'm only doing a rough cleanup of my carb. If I wanted to do a full cleanup, I would be using lacquer thinners and soaking the jets in overnight. But for this video, I'll only blow the dirt out with my mouth. Regularly, you would use an air compressor with lacquer thinners. You can see that I managed to unblock the hole just by blowing through it. And now that the hole is unblocked, I'm going to be able to get a lot more fuel coming into the cylinder. The two holes you see here allow for airflow for idling. They work with the pilot jet to create a good fuel balance for air to fuel ratio when idling. Try and clear out any dirt that might be in there by blowing or using an air compressor. Once you've done that, put everything back together on the carb and screw the float boat back on. Like I said, this is only a beginner's video. There's a lot more information on cleaning carbs, but I want to keep it simple for the first video. In future videos I'll be explaining in depth how to put things back together, how to take them apart, what they do, all the necessary things you need to know about a carb. but for now I'm happy with just leaving it at this stage. So thanks for watching, and remember to clean up after yourselves.